YouTube, how's it going? We're back with some free agents. It's kind of calmed down. Free agency starting to calm down. The big names off the board. I'm talking like Mel Kiper, getting ready for draft season. But we're gonna cover the offense here. Myself and our friend Junior here, we did some homework.
We did some homework for you guys.
We got 3 each position best signings for offense. We have a video for defense, and our friend Pete here. The winner of the weekly pick'ems on the year, back-to-back years actually. Wow. He's here. He didn't do his homework, unfortunately, but he's here to give some hot takes, see if he agrees or disagrees with us, and maybe throw in some of his best signings. So this is going by position for offense. This is somewhat of a podcast, not a lot of visuals going on because our graphics guy Danny, it was too much for him to handle. But we will have other free agency videos with a lot going on, so stay tuned. But this video is for the offense. Let's start with the quarterbacks. You want me to give you my number 3?
Yeah, we'll go with like 3-3.
Okay, 2-2. My number 3 quarterback signing is Teddy Bridgewater to the Jets. For 1 year, it could be for $5 million or all the way up to 15. Now, 15 is a little scary, but it's 5 to 15. And the reason he's on here is because I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater fan. I think he's, we really don't know what his injury is like. I think the guy can ball. He's mobile. He's very accurate. He had some kind of record for first 2 seasons in the year being the most accurate completion percentage-wise. So he's good, and the Jets need a young quarterback. The bad thing is the Jets may get a starter to replace him in the draft. But I do like Teddy Bridgewater. I like his potential. Good signing by the Jets. What do you got for 3?
For my 3rd, maybe a little shocker here, I got Kirk Cousins as my 3rd.
Okay.
Reason being, I think the Vikings they're going to have success, and I don't think the quarterback necessarily mattered. They could have thrown Teddy back in there, Keenum back in there. I think they all have success. Obviously, they took the best quarterback that was available.
But he is in your top 3, so it looks like a good signing.
It was I like the signing, but
because they got better, but they didn't get a lot better.
Yes, that's why he's so low on my.
Pete, do you have any takes, or you want us to go through?
Just keep going.
Keep going. Okay. Pete's just a sit-in guy. My number 2 is Kirk Cousins of the Vikings. Yes, a lot of money, the most guaranteed. I don't think anybody's had fully guaranteed ever like that, but the Vikings got better. You don't know what you're going to get out of Keenum. Obviously, Teddy might be a little hurt, even though I think he's got potential, but he's not going to win you a Super Bowl right now. Keenum threw 3 picks in the playoffs. They played 2 playoff games. Cousins just better. He's been better with mediocre defense, mediocre targets. Now he's got maybe the best duo receiver group, or top 3, maybe I should say, in the NFL. He's got Dalvin Cook if he stays healthy. He's got Kyle Rudolph at tight end. He's got the best defense in football. If they're not the best defense, they'll be top 3. So, I mean, it's just they're going to be better. They're going to be contenders. So he's my number 2.
Wow. That was a lot of information.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of info on the Vikings.
Well, this is an odd one. This is a very odd one. It has to kind of do with your number 3. But I'm going to say that it kind of has to do with draft. But it's technically trade offseason. I'm saying the Jets-Colts trade is going to be number 2 for me because I think the Jets.
That's a hot take. We're going to do a separate video on trades, but I'll allow it. I'll allow that in here.
I'm throwing that in there because I think that trade was specifically done.
So you think it was a good move for the Jets?
I think yes.
Ooh.
They gave up a lot, but I think if they land their franchise quarterback,
it doesn't matter which quarterback they draft to you.
As long as they land whoever they draft, if he's successful in a franchise quarterback, that trade makes sense.
And the trade video we will do should be up the next day or 2. I'm going to disagree with you strongly on that. I'll break it down. It depends on who they get, but
that's a strong land.
All right, my number 1 is Drew Brees. Pretty boring one because he went back to his own team. But I mean, I'd rather have Cousins long term than Brees. But really, the reason Brees is number 1 here is because it was a steal of a deal, hometown discount.
Mm-hmm.
That may not be his original hometown, but I mean, other teams offered him way more. We know that. We don't know the exact numbers, but 2 year, $50 million. Brees can contend there. They need him to contend, so it makes sense.
I did not have Brees on mine because I kind of figured
you kind of wanted
back.
You tried. Okay, yeah, you tried to get the newer guys in there.
Mm-hmm. So like this one is even a hotter take. If you thought number 2 was a hot take,
oh boy,
we're gonna go to Cleveland here.
Cleveland,
and I'm gonna say this is why.
Is there a trade?
No, it's a kind of a 2-for-1 special here. The trade for Tyrod. I like Tyrod. He's an accurate quarterback who does not make many mistakes. but they also have the security blanket of that early draft pick. So I think they can't miss here. That's why I put them at number 1. They cannot miss here.
You got some hot takes. I'm just going pretty simple here.
No, this is the hottest take by the quarterback position for me, but we can continue.
Yeah? What does Pete got? Hold on. I got breaking news just now. Mercedes Lewis released from the Jaguars. Interesting.
Jags are making cuts.
Well,
They signed a few tight ends.
Well, my pick, we'll wait till we get there.
All right, Pete, any quarterback hot takes?
I mean, there wasn't that much action. I mean, there was, but I don't know what Ant's talking about.
Pete, get out of here.
Ant Jr., the same person?
The Colts got a steal on that trade. Like, they need so many picks that we're not even going to talk about that.
Yeah, that's a different video.
Yeah,
Come on now.
He's bringing that up as.
I like hot takes, though.
That was just a hot take, Pete.
I do like the Teddy Bridgewater signing a lot. He doesn't talk about Keenum at all. I think that was solid.
Yeah, that's an honorable mention.
Yeah.
You just don't know what Keenum you're going to get. And Elway called him Keesum, so I mean that's bad already.
You guys are talking like your least favorite still, or
no? I don't like in our team winners and losers videos. We'll give some loser teams, but I don't want to give.
Well, I'll just like start breaking out some names. Sam Bradford did not like that signing.
Yeah.
What about Mike Lennon?
But Bradford's good if he's not hurt.
Yeah, it's 2 years, $40 million.
That's a lot of bread.
McCarron is okay. The deal isn't that big, so like, and they're probably gonna take.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of McCarron, but it was cheap.
They're
so.
probably gonna take someone, so we'll see what happens with that. But
yeah. On to the running backs.
Thanks,
yeah.
Pete.
The running backs. Well, I got 4.
I got 3.
It's supposed to be 3. Yeah, okay, my honorable mention is Isaiah Crowell out of the Jets, just because it was 3-year, $12 million. That's pretty cheap, very cheap. My number 3 is going to be Jerick McKinnon and the Niners. It was a lot of money, yes, but the fit is outstanding. Kyle Shanahan over there getting his Jet McKinnon over there, and you know he's his new Devontae Freeman. Is he as good as Devontae Freeman? No, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And it's a real good fit. That's why it comes in at number 3. What do you got for me?
Well, my 3 is a hot take. I don't know if I want to say it.
Oh, God.
I don't know if I want to say it here.
All right, let's hear it.
You're going to find Jerick on my list at some point. I can assure you that. But I like the fit of Doug Martin in Oakland.
Doug Martin, okay.
I like it.
I'm not going to bash it.
You're going to bash that I don't have Deion Lewis on my list.
I don't have Doug on my list, but let me go to my number 2. Is Deion Lewis.
Yeah, he's not even on mine.
4-year, $20 million. Derrick Henry probably should be the starter, but it's a good pickup. You can't just, go with a worse backup than that. You can't just sit around and the running back class is pretty good, but you want to draft defense, so they had to go out and get a running back. So it makes sense, good signing. It's not a wow. It's not going to wow me, but it's number 2 on my list. Who's your number 2? Are you looking at my?
I was screen peeking.
Screen peeking my notes.
My number 2. We're gonna go back to Cleveland here. We're gonna go Carlos Hyde. Okay. I like the signing. I don't know. This kind of I think secures that they're taking a quarterback at the number 1 spot. That's what I think. And I just like Carlos Hyde a lot. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Okay. My number 1 is Carlos Hyde.
Ooh.
I thought he got in some good shape last year. He looked younger and more athletic, I should say. No, he just looked like he was better. I think he needs a new team to give him more action. Maybe he's not the number 1 guy after the draft, but as we sit, 3-year, $15 million to the Browns. He's their guy right now. I like the money. I like the player. I liked him as a starter in a system that they'll use him a lot. So I like it. He's my number 1 running back signing.
Speaking of a system that has a new player that's going to be used a lot, my number 1 is Jerick McKinnon. I think that he's just going to be the guy. I think that's what he always wanted, and I think he's just going to have
what happens if they trade up and get Barkley? I don't think it's going to happen, but what if? Or if they draft Darius Geis?
That's like a slap to Jerick's face.
Yeah.
I think roll with Jerick. He's always wanted to be the guy, and now he is. Let's see what he does.
Okay. Pete, any hot takes? Any comments?
Yeah, I probably would have had top 3 probably been Hyde, McKinnon, and Deion Lewis. I think they all fit their teams pretty well. I also like Rex Burkhead back to the Patriots too.
Good old Buckwood.
Cheap deal.
Okay. Receivers. Yeah, again, I went against the rules here. It's supposed to be top 3. I literally wrote 5 down. So let me give you honorable mentions. I'm a big fan of Marquise Lee. I think he's very underrated. Yeah, he got a lot of money. He hasn't really done much for that money, but I think Prospect-wise, I really like Marcus Lee. He might be the guy now because the Jags lost 2 receivers, so he may look better. Another honorable mention, Jarius Wright, slot receiver to the Panthers. I think he'll be good there. But on to my number 3 is Amendola to the Fins. The Dolphins.
Ugh.
Going 2-year, $12 million. It's cheap. I think the guy can play, as we saw in the playoffs. I don't think that was really all Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady could make him better, but there was some plays he was making that showed that it wasn't all Tom Brady. So, I mean, they needed receivers. Yeah, they got worse at the position because they lost Jarvis Landry, but you get Amendola for a cheap price. He's my number 3. It's not going to wow, but it's my number 3.
My number 3 is Jarvis Landry.
This was supposed to be free agent signing. Well, okay, they did give him an extension, did they?
Yeah,
they're going to.
Now. Come on. So I'm going to go Jarvis here. I like the fit, and I like the duo. I like what they're doing there in Cleveland with the receivers. I'm not a Browns fan, even though it may seem that way.
Yeah, you're going Browns like crazy.
Not a Browns fan.
Are you sure?
He's a Browns fan.
Yeah,
All right, my number 2 is Michael Crabtree to the Ravens, 3-year, $21 million. I think he's still got some left in the tank.
No.
I think it's a pretty cheap price compared to the other receiver market. The Ravens needed a receiver desperately. Will you stop looking at my notes?
Trying to see what you got going on over there.
Crabtree's my number 2. I mean, another one that's not going to wow, but I think it needed to happen.
He's not even on my list. Number 2?
Yeah. Give me your number 2.
Is this allowed? Can I do Allen Robinson, number 2?
Yeah.
I'm throwing him in there, number 2. I think that he is going into a system and a team that needs a receiver like him. And I love it. Love everything about it.
You love it?
Mm-hmm.
My number 1 is Allen Robinson to the Bears. A lot of money, but this really isn't a lot of money. They needed him. They really had no other choice. But the reason he's number 1, well, the receiver, I don't like really the receiver signs in general, so it's pretty easy to be number 1. But the main reason is Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins ended up being the top receiver target. I think Robinson's better, safer, and they got him cheaper. So that's the way I look at it. That's the reason he's number 1. Sammy Watkins, I like him on the Chiefs, but it is too much money, so he wasn't on the list.
This is going to be interesting because my number 1 is Sammy Watkins.
Oh, boy.
It's a little interesting here. I just like the system.
I mean, he's going to be good if
like
he's
the
healthy.
fit.
Yeah, I like the fit, but it was a lot of money for him. I think he's going to be he might be like the second highest paid receiver in the league for this year. Not average,
That's
but
a little over the top.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Moving on.
Oh no, what has Pete got? Come on.
Oh yeah.
I know he didn't do his homework.
Skipping me here. Yeah, the receivers were kind of. Seemed like they were like overpaid.
They were kind of malarkey.
Yeah, all the deals were kind of malarkey. I like Amendola a lot. It's a pretty cheap deal, and I think he's a good replacement for Jarvis Landry. I like that.
See,
that signing.
Pete's on the board.
Yeah, I like the Allen Robinson one a lot. I don't think there's a really good number 1 receiver in the draft, so I think that was a good pickup by the Bears.
Whoa.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, I like it. I don't really like what the Raiders did with getting rid of Crabtree and getting Jordy Nelson. I think that was kind of like a downgrade. Right there.
Yeah, but they're really not going to get much worse from that. But yeah, I understand.
You do decrease the amount of chain snatching that's going to be going on in Oakland.
That's a good point. All right, tight ends. My number 3 is Trey Burton to the Bears. Good weapon, not an every down tight end. That's why I'm not really in love with it, but it's a good weapon for that offense. He did get $32 million. That's kind of a lot, but it's going to make the Bears better. That's the bottom line. He's my number 3.
Well, I have 4.
All right,
but our 3s are the same.
Trey Burton.
Burton
Who's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention is Eric Ebron.
Okay.
Because the Colts quarterback situation is such a question, I can't throw him up there. That's why I don't put him on my top 3 list.
I think Brissett can play either way. Even if he's whoever they got a quarterback, obviously Luck's better.
Yeah.
Brissett's got potential. He's pretty good. They need to get offensive line some protection. But it's my number 2. Is Eric Ebron. Colts, 2-year, $15 million. I think that's cheap. I like the idea of Ebron. Hasn't worked out yet. He's a first-round prospect. He's got the size, athleticism, needs to catch the ball better, good in the red zone. But he needed a new team. I like it, no matter who the quarterback is there. I like Ebron. I'd watch out for him to be him with Doyle, too. That's who are you going to cover?
Well, Doyle rules.
Ebron's might be better than Doyle. It hasn't really shown.
It felt...
But Ebron's my number 2. Who you got? And
now my number 2 is looking genius as of late. I'm gonna go with Austin Safarian Jenkins.
Yeah.
I like the duo. Before Mercedes Lewis was cut, I liked that duo in Jacksonville. But now that Lewis is out the door, I'm looking like a wizard.
I actually thought about putting Niles Paul on here. The Jags got both those guys. Niles Paul, if healthy, he's pretty good, but he most likely will get hurt. I'm sorry I had to say that. But all right, my number one, even though I really don't like the money,
we're probably gonna the same one.
Is Jimmy Graham, just because it makes the team better. Has Rodgers ever had a tight end like Jimmy Graham? If Rodgers is healthy and normal, back to normal, it's scary. It's very scary. Even though it's kind of a lot of money, he did lead the league in drops last year, but he's still good. Still scary.
I got Jimbo. As well.
Okay.
There for me.
It's just a little scary, right? A little dangerous.
A little dangerous.
Hard to match up against.
So you know where the yellow shooting sleeve or like the green? Hopefully.
I don't know, Pete. Any hot takes there on the shooting sleeve?
I'm not a fan.
No, not on your guys. On the shooting sleeve. No, I'm kidding.
I like the Jimmy Graham one. That's probably number one, but I don't like Ebron really. I think he has a lot of drop problems, and Doyle has a lot of drop problems.
Thank you,
more
Pete.
drops for the Colts, so that's good. You guys didn't mention Ed Dixon. I like the Ed Dixon sign.
Dixon.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh, never
can ball.
mind. I take all my claps.
What? Ed Dixon could ball. And he got a cheap deal. He's on the Seahawks.
Okay, all
Jimmy
right.
Graham's replacement right there. Russell Wilson. Give him a good target there.
All right, okay. Moving on to the offensive lineman. The offensive lineman is here's the last part of the video. And
Mine
before
are
we go on the
obvious.
defense. Number 3 is Justin Pugh to the Cardinals, 5-year, $45 million. Linemen get a lot of money. That's not a whole bunch compared to the other guys. The Cardinals needed them. I don't like really getting linemen in the draft unless it's the sure thing like Quentin Nelson or something. So good job to go out and get a guy. Number 3.
I got the same number 3.
It's not really gonna wow, but it deserves to be there. My number 2 is Nate Solder to the Giants, 4 years, $62 million. A lot of money for a 30-year-old, but he was Tom Brady's guy, and the Giants needed him. They're gonna put him at. You're gonna put him at left tackle, so that's a good move.
I think you're gonna take over here because we got the same list.
You got Solder at 2?
I do.
All right, so you want me to move on to the 1?
Let's see if we have the same one.
It's Andrew Norwell.
All right, we're good. We're on
The
same
Jags, 5 years, $66.5 million. If I had to say my favorite signings, just single signings, Norwell's up there.
They came out of nowhere.
Not just for offensive linemen. The Jags didn't need it, but they weren't afraid to get better. They got better. He's one of the best guards in football. They don't really need a whole lot of things, so why not go for O-lineman where you get injuries? You don't know what you're going to get from offensive linemen. It was a great move, one of my favorite moves of the offseason. 5 years, $66.5 may look like a lot, but that's what the O-line market is. I like the move. That's your number 1 as well?
That's my number 1 as well. You can put it in the books.
Wow. All right, Pete, what's your takes?
Yeah.
That's all you
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
That's like the top 3 right there.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, yeah.
I like Weston Richburg, too, the 49ers.
Got a center.
Pick up.
It's hard to find good centers.
Yeah.
There's some in the draft, but
What about Pouncey?
Pouncey's
decent, too, yeah.
surprising cut, good pickup. So is that all for the offense?
I think so.
That'll do it. The defensive video will follow with the same crew here, same type of video. That'll do it for this one, though. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our other videos and stay tuned for more. Goodbye.